ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Luther Burbank's Commencement 2020 ceremony.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the commencement of the Luther Burbank Class of 2020. I am Senior Chief William McCarty of the United States Navy. I ask that you please pause for the singing of the National Anthem by KZ Austero.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we've hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the principal of Luther Burbank High School, Jim Peterson.
Good evening, distinguished guests, families, friends, and most importantly, the graduating class of 2020. Tonight, we take a moment during your journey through life to stop and celebrate your hard work and dedication over these last 12 years. There are a few roads and paths that all of you have traveled daily to arrive where you are today, be it by car or on foot, down Florin Road or Luther Drive, or perhaps even occasionally climbing the fence by the tracks. You've made short trips like these, more than 2,000 of them over the last 12 years. Some of those days you may have felt tired, sick, or in a bad space, but you kept moving forward because you knew that in pursuit of excellence, in pursuit of your dreams, you must continue moving forward every day and every year of your life, regardless of the obstacles in your path. One path that none of us expected to be on tonight was dealing with a global pandemic. Even though we are at a distance this evening, we are still on the same road together. Hardships and obstacles have come our way, but we've kept moving forward together as a Titan family. This instinct to move forward didn't begin with us. Science tells us that we are all one people, one extended family, who began in the cradle of humanity, Southeast Africa, many millennia ago. Over the generations, we've taken different roads, moving forward and making our way across the face of our globe. And here we are tonight. After many thousands of years, we've come full circle as our family is reunited, reflecting the beauty and diversity of our ancestors and their travels in pursuit of their dreams. Just like our ancestors weathered the hardships of the Middle Passage, the Trail of Tears, the Secret War, and the Great Migration, this graduating class has had to endure the Syrian Civil War, mass shootings, the continual killing of black men at the hands of those who have sworn to serve and protect them, and a global pandemic that has kept loved ones apart and prevented this class from experiencing memories of pep rallies and proms and other milestones that most generations have taken for granted. Nevertheless, I am confident that, the same way our forebears have endured, this class will meet the moment and write a new chapter of our great human family stories. Many of our brothers and sisters of the class of 2020 have unique and powerful stories of how they arrived here at this brief destination before continuing on with their journey. Our brother, Jose Guevara, was born and raised in El Salvador, where, as a child, he endured the physical abuse of a violent father. At 15 years of age, he came to the United States along with his mother in order to escape the violence of the region. Upon arriving, he did not speak or understand a word of English. By disciplining himself to read, write, speak, and listen to English for a minimum of 1 hour a day, along with attending school, he is now fluent in the language. Today, in addition to having received mentorship and counseling, he continues to heal from the trauma of his violent childhood by reading self-help and motivational books every day for no less than 1 hour. He does this in both English and Spanish in a never-ending quest to perfect his literacy in the two languages. Next year, Jose will continue to move forward by attending Sac City College, where he will begin to study political science with the goal of becoming a politician in order to make positive change in the world around him. And now, for the baby of our family, our little sister, who is the youngest graduate tonight, at the age of 16, grew up in a household with her parents, older brother, and her grandmother Maria, who was instrumental in her rearing. Maria helped raise our little sister from a baby into the young woman she is today. All the while telling her, you're going to get your education, you're going to go to college, you're going to end up being whatever it is that you want to be. Maria's health has taken a turn over the last few months, and now the tables have turned, as our sister Rosieli Williams is now in charge of taking care of her grandmother who took care of her for her entire life. Every day, Rosieli takes her blood pressure, monitors her pulse, prepares her meals, and feeds her, and remains on standby for all of her needs. All this while simultaneously taking classes online and earning a 4.2 GPA this semester. Rosieli says she cannot think of a better way to show her grandmother her appreciation for all she's done for her than by taking care of her in this time of need, and also by being accepted to UC Santa Barbara, where she will continue to move forward by beginning to study biochemistry in the fall. Our sister, Vi Nguyen, or Vi as her friends call her, immigrated to the United States from Vietnam in 2012. When she arrived, she could not read, write, speak, or understand English. From day one, she immersed herself in school and worked hard to acquire her new language and do as well as she could in all of her classes, which ended up being reflected in her good grades. So when she arrived at Burbank, she was encouraged to become an International Baccalaureate student. Since she was still an English learner, she was nervous about taking advanced classes, but was encouraged by her Uncle Man, who was a Burbank graduate, to give it a try. He explained the program to her and told her that it would be difficult, but that if she stuck with it, it could change her life. She decided to take on the challenge and dedicated herself over the course of the next 4 years. Tonight, 4 years later, she is not only completely fluent in English, but she has earned a 4.2 GPA and will continue to move forward next year by attending UC Santa Cruz, where she will be studying human biology. Our brother, Ryder Brown, was born with a genetic disability, which has caused him to be in a wheelchair since childhood. Ryder has been passionate about music since birth, meaning that joining a hip-hop class in his sophomore year at Burbank seemed like a logical fit. After a few months, however, he dropped the class out of frustration because he felt he didn't have the ability to move around the way he wanted. During the months after leaving the group, Ryder reflected and came to a realization that rather than stressing out about what he couldn't do, he should focus on what he could do and allow the music to flow through him and focus on the creative act of performance. He ultimately returned to the class and began working on moves that allowed him to use his chair as a means to expressively dance. Consequently, he perfected his hip-hop wheelie, the spin cycle, as well as his signature move, the sprinkler. Ryder wanted me to let you all know that he will always fondly remember his time here at Burbank, and a large part of it is because of you all, his Titan family, who always saw him first and foremost for who he is and what he can contribute, as opposed to focusing on his chair. Ryder's comment about what it says about you as human beings is significant. The Chinese author and civil rights activist Chen Guangcheng once said, "How a society treats its disabled is the true measure of a civilization." When I asked the mother of our brother, Christopher Ayala, our tallest graduate, who grew up with autism, what made Burbank special for her and her son, she replied, "I can answer that in one word: acceptance." This class has demonstrated not only an acceptance of all of our students with disabilities, but you have also volunteered your time to go on field trips with them, cook with them, dance with them, and yes, graduate with them tonight. This is a reflection of your excellence as human beings and the stewards of the future of our civilization, a civilization in which all people are treated with dignity and respect, a civilization that stands up for racial and social equality, a civilization that stands up against injustice and indifference. Class of 2020, I believe you can be the generation that will stand up and be counted as the generation of anti-racist, the generation of inclusion, empowerment, and the generation of love. Class of 2020, your individual journeys will likely take many turns. Oftentimes, the easiest, most attractive roads are not the ones you should travel. Sometimes it's the very road that people tell you to avoid that you should follow. Just because you're afraid, not knowing what's around the corner, doesn't mean you shouldn't knock down the barrier and proudly move forward. As the great Dr. King once said, "If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward." Class of 2020, tonight you will get up and proudly show your faces on this screen. And then, following the tradition of all of our ancestors, you will continue to move forward through life, move forward through your struggles, move forward through your fears, move forward towards your hopes and dreams. For you are the ancestors and heroes of this planet's future generations who will continue to shape, mold, and transform the face of humanity. Congratulations, class of 2020. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce one of our two co-valedictorians, Cheryl Bowens.
Good morning, Luther Burbank community. My name is Cheryl Bowens, and I'm honored to be Burbank's class of 2020 co-valedictorian. I'm excited and grateful to be here today given the circumstances. If we were in the traditional auditorium setting, I would take this moment to ask for another round of applause for the class of 2020. But instead I will say this: the class of 2020 deserves a million rounds of applause for pushing through these troubling times. The last half of senior year was unexpected and unfortunate, but seeing as how we're all here today to celebrate the class of 2020 goes to show that we are unstoppable. Every senior this year across the country shares a similar story, the story of not finishing what we started the way we envisioned it. We all remember what the first day of senior year felt like a dream we had pushed through to achieve. We had made it to the home stretch, and it was our time to celebrate. Senior sunrise, our last homecoming, college applications, it was our turn to be seniors. And although our teachers gave us more headaches than we could count, I don't think any of us truly minded because we would finally be leaving high school in a couple of months. Yet none of us knew how soon it really was. That COVID-19 gave us the biggest headache of all. COVID-19 is a thief. It stole our senior ditch day and robbed us of a traditional prom and graduation. It took away our memories that we were looking forward to making. We didn't get a chance to say goodbye to our friends or sign each other's yearbooks. COVID-19 ruthlessly robbed us of our senior year experiences. COVID-19 made us feel incomplete and bereft. It made us think that everything we did this year was a waste of time and energy. But one thing COVID-19 will never touch is our resilience and determination. It is our duty to make sure that COVID-19 will not stand in our way. Class of 2020, we're an inspirational story. 20 years from now, students during their history class will read a section in their history books titled Class of 2020, The Unstoppable, that tells about how the class of 2020 prevailed despite the chaos caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Students will learn about how we had to juggle the stress of COVID-19, high school, family, and our future plans. They will read accounts about how COVID-19 taught us to stay focused and determined through trials and tribulations. Students will learn about how the class of 2020 made history. To all the seniors who share the story, also known as the class of 2020, I want you to know that although we didn't get to experience this year to the fullest, nothing we did this year was wasted. We are resilient and strong and share a unique story that no one outside of our senior class will truly understand. We missed out on so many memories that could not be replaced, but no matter what, we did it. Hooray for the unstoppable class of 2020. Thank you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, a word from our superintendent, Jorge Aguilar.
Hello, I'm Jorge Aguilar, Superintendent of Sac City Unified School District. Congratulations to the class of 2020. Congratulations to the family, friends, guardians, and community members for your support of these graduates, for your sacrifices and all you've done to get us to this moment, even if this is different than what you thought it would be. I know this is probably not what you imagined when you looked forward to your high school graduation. But no matter what you do today, it doesn't minimize or take away from all that you've accomplished thus far and what you will accomplish going forward. And for families, we know this is different for you too. But we know the change in circumstance won't take away that feeling of pride you have for your student. Class of 2020, I hope today is the first of many similar celebrations and memorable transitions for you in your education, career, and personal life. This graduation ceremony is a marker and a great achievement, but it is not a definition. What you've done to get here and what you'll do moving forward is what really matters. This probably won't be the first time you need to adjust something that you didn't expect. It's our ability to take the unexpected and make it work. That is the real testament to who we are. It's the grit, the tenacity. In Spanish, we call it the ganas that helps you get through these things. It's our willingness to shift and pivot when it matters the most. Your life will never be a straight line. Of course, I don't have to tell you this because you're here today. I'm sure your journey here was full of bumps and curves and all kinds of surprises, both good and bad. Your curriculum here at Sac City Unified focused on academic, social, and emotional learning. We know that in order to succeed, your needs must be met beyond grades and academics. We know that for many, this journey is harder. And it is for this reason that we all, as we've learned from our time here at Sac City Unified, must give grace and compassion and acknowledgement that the road is different for everyone. Sometimes we must even give grace and compassion to ourselves. Leave here today with the confidence to set high expectations for yourself, but do not let failures deter you from working toward your goals. In fact, failure is not the falling down, but the staying down. We're experiencing this crisis collectively, but it impacts all of us differently, the same as most things in life. Our acknowledgement of that allows us to tackle crises more effectively, to see things more clearly, and to challenge injustices and inequities. This will not be easy. It takes courage, it takes resolve, emotional intelligence, and empathy. While the crisis we're experiencing today might be memorable, I hope the memory of it will pale in comparison to your achievement here today. You have so much to look forward to, well beyond the challenges that we're facing in this moment. But I do hope that you will take something from it. Success is not only about achievement, it's supporting one another. It's about being able to look around the world knowing that we really are in this together. We've seen this more than ever in the last few months. We've seen songs on balconies, gratitude for our first responders, virtual support and outreach to those who need it, creative responses to serve our community's needs, whether it's providing food to our families, internet and computers to those without access, or check-ins to those who need a friend. When we are there for each other, it matters. And when we fail to support one another, it matters too. We can't pretend that we haven't seen the consequence of inaction as well. You've seen both in real time and what it means on the ground. My hope for you, class of 2020, is that you will take this knowledge that for many takes a lifetime to acquire, and apply it going forward no matter what you choose to do with your future. It's what we do for each other that makes the biggest difference. If you can view the world through the lens of another, you will go far, because each one of you matters. Each one of you will make a difference, and it is your choice what kind of difference that is. Class of 2020, we are proud of you. Congratulations on this momentous accomplishment. I am honored to celebrate this special moment with you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce our other co-valedictorian, Maria Flores.
Hi, my name is Maria Flores Rivera, and I'm the co-valedictorian of the class of 2020 at Luther Burbank High School. Our class has continued to excel despite the various obstacles thrown our way. Within each and every one of us, there's strength and determination. Our best qualities have shown throughout these 4 years with the support of those around us. Our parents, teachers, and counselors have helped us push through and be unstoppable. Throughout the years, everything goes by so fast. Deadlines, events, living situations. And now that time has slowed down, I realize that it really does take a village. Thank you to all of those who lifted us up when we were down. The next phase of our lives will be different for everyone. Some will join the Army, some will work, others will attend colleges and universities. Many probably feel excited and confused. Others probably feel scared and shocked. All of these feelings are natural as we explore and take advantage of the opportunities available to us. But now is the time to push aside any fears and to bask in our achievements. This is a time for joy. The class of 2020 has graduated. But on that note, I want to talk about something more serious. I know that the world right now is filled with tension and uncertainty. It affects us. It makes us feel scared and angry and sad. But it also makes us feel passionate and motivated and strong. I know that we all want to go out there and change the world. We have the power and the resources to do so. But know that no one can do it alone. There is power in our communities. There's power within our Latino and our Native communities, our African American community and our Asian community, and so forth. There is beauty in our cultures and strength within our unique identities. Now more than ever, is it important for us to support others and their fight for justice. Our family and staff members have led us here, to our graduation. Now, it is time to go even further, to do even greater things. I wish the best to the class of 2020.
Class of 2020, none of you have made this journey alone tonight. You are accompanied by at least one of the following people: your parents, brothers, sisters, cousins, aunts, uncles, loved ones, mentors, teachers, counselors, coaches, instructional aides. The list goes on. In a normal graduation ceremony, I would ask you to stand up, turn around, and show them your love. But since we are not physically together this evening, I ask that you take a moment at home or wherever you are to show appreciation to whoever is in the room with you. Ladies and gentlemen, a word from our school board member, Mai Vang.
Hello, Titans, family, and friends. Congratulations. I want to take this moment to celebrate you. My name is Mai Vang. As your school board member, I could not be more proud. You have worked incredibly hard to get to this milestone, and you should celebrate every moment of it. Today, I'm celebrating you. I wish we could give you the graduation you deserve. I wish we could gather in person with your families, shake your hands, and watch you walk and or dance across the stage. I wish I could see you all in person and tell you in person how proud I am of you. While high school graduation will be a bit different this year, along with many uncertainties of what the future holds, I know you've got what it takes to sustain every challenge coming your way. As a daughter of Hmong refugees and a daughter of a Titan, my mom attended Luther Burbank, I know you have the heart and the hustle to reach your full potential and be anything you want. I know that 2020 has been a hard year for you, for our families, for our community. From a global pandemic layered with more racial injustice, sometimes all of it can seem unbearable, but I am hopeful because of you. You are what the world needs now. You are your ancestors' wildest dreams. You are everything they have asked for, to challenge the status quo and to dismantle harmful systems and rebuild a more just world. A world that values Black lives, a world that protects humanity. To all of our parents, grandparents, siblings, uncles, aunties watching at home, thank you so much for your unconditional love you have provided for our students. We know it takes an entire community to raise a child, so thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your students' success is our success. To Principal Jim Peterson, our Luther Burbank teachers and staff, thank you for being on the front lines every day. Your dedication and passion to our students does not go unnoticed. Our teachers are our everyday heroes. They inspire, empower, and change lives. I am living proof of that. As Malcolm X would say, education is a passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare it for today. And to the graduates and the dreamers, I want you to know you have prepared yourself for today. The future is yours, but I want you to know that the future is now. So walk into your power because you are exactly what the world needs to make it a better place. Graduates, I am so proud of you. Congratulations to the class of 2020. And now, let's celebrate you. Class of 2020, it's time for your senior slideshow.
and gentlemen, it is an honor to introduce and recognize the most resilient graduating class of Luther Burbank High School, Class of 2020.
Building Trades Academy lead teacher Jennifer Adkins.
Lamar Alexander.
Malia Briggs.
Joel Campos.
Raksha Chand.
Joshua Shan.
Gabriel Coelho.
Noé Corona.
Janet Fernandez.
Jordan Farrell.
Charles Franklin.
Brenai Galbraith.
Andrix Ace Gayano.
Ulises Garcia Rivera.
Guillermo Gonzalez.
Ayana Green.
Joshua Hang.
Tanari Ingram.
Giovanni Insunza.
Marsha Jackson.
Emily Jones.
Tamim Khan.
Udasar Kosti.
Navea Maesta Stinson.
Ezekiel Mayanao.
Juan Martinez Gutierrez.
Erica Mason.
Kyle Montu.
Sydney Mueller.
Darnell Osako.
Marsalis Pryor.
Osiel Rangel.
Jose Razo Castro.
Brian Resendiz.
Laura Rosales Barajas.
Kyle Seychow.
Susana Sanchez Bran.
Tylen Scott.
Janet Soto Cuellar.
Angelo Doral.
Asia Vang.
Chong Bing.
Cody Vu.
Tamim Walisada.
Ashley Zong.
Elaine Zong.
Elizabeth Yang.
Tua Nia Yang.
The Food and Health Sciences SLC led by Myra Tellez.
Joaquin Angulo.
Christopher Ayala.
Diego Ayala Rodriguez.
Joseph Benavides.
Erandi Bravo Garibay.
Shalena Bui.
Hareli Cardoso.
Laisha Carrillo. Joshua de la Garza.
Alejandra Espinosa Álvarez.
Jose Estrada.
Dejanay Franklin.
Isaac Garcia.
Esmeralda González.
Isel Guzmán Avina.
Maribel Hernández.
Alyssa Herrera.
Quantrell Jackson.
Alinda Lee.
Malaysia Littlejohn.
Chanayan Lore.
Diego Lugo.
Jennifer Marquez Rodriguez,
Kenneth McDowell,
Maraja Meeks,
Amy Mendez,
Koriem Mohammed,
Davis Muir,
Jessica Nanez,
Isaí Ortiz Moreno,
Limni Reynoso,
Aria Russell,
Jesselyn Saturn,
Saula Saukisuva,
Matthew Sherman,
Lawrence Scherer Thrower,
Michael Soto Paulino,
Ashley Tao,
Yusuf Underwood Hunt,
Curtis Vang,
Haylin Vang,
Jacob Vang,
Kazia Vang,
Emma Varelas Andrés,
Ying Yang,
Izai Ortiz Moreno, Malaysia Littlejohn,
the Global Studies Small Learning Community led by Catherine Bell,
Paul Edward Afable,
Hassan Ali,
Nikat Ali,
Liari Alvarez Vasquez,
Romel Aquino,
Casey Austero,
Clemente Boroel,
Cheryl Bowens,
Emerald Brighton,
Tahan Brooks,
Leonard Bryant,
Risa Ann Busto,
Natalie Castañeda Pulido,
Corey Cato,
Melinda Cha,
Ricky Cha,
Cao Cheng,
Mai Chang,
Susan Chang,
Tracy Cruz Sanchez,
Monet Daniel,
Esmeralda Figueroa Reinaga,
María Flores Rivera,
Rocio Gallo,
Gustavo Gutierrez,
Beyonce Henderson,
Annie Herr,
Ricky Herr,
Tiffany's Johnson,
Christina Kearney,
Berliana Lane,
Jasmine Lara,
Julia Lara,
Jessica Lee,
Karen Leon,
Felix Lopez Miranda,
Francesca Lopez Miranda,
Victor Lopez Baena,
Stephanie Lopez Hernandez,
Alex Lore,
Linda Ma,
Carlos Madrigal,
Vicente Mandujano,
Ariana Manriquez,
Davon McLean Van Meter,
Agustin Mendez Flores,
Hannah Mercier,
Amelani Moa,
Safia Mohammed,
Roxana Mora,
Denny Nguyen,
Vi Nguyen,
William Nguyen,
Miguel Ochoa Zambrano,
Leilani Olguin,
Josiah Oliva,
Jennifer Perez,
Giselle Ramirez Garcia,
Yahir Reyes Garcia,
Mauricio Robles Cruz,
Ashley Say Lee,
Marsa Samuel,
Fabian Sanchez,
Chantel Sharma,
Zachary Surigao,
Edmar Joseph Tagaka,
Brian Tapia,
Tanya Tan,
Ashley Tao,
Juliet Tao,
Justine Tao,
Lily Tao,
Ya Tao,
Z Tao,
Zua Tao,
Mercedes Torres,
Richard Torres,
Andrea Valenzuela Garcia,
Araceli Valladares,
Achayo Valles,
Anastasia Bain,
Ashley Vang,
Leslie Bain,
Mai Lee Vang,
Smith Bain,
Anthony Vasquez,
Cassandra Velázquez Sandoval,
Bryce Vu,
Chong Vu,
Christopher Vu,
Tyrone Weathersby Jr.,
Drea Williams,
Rosieli Williams,
Bruce Zong,
Cassidy Song,
Kabao Song,
Shen Song,
Abigail Yang,
Chuchi Yang,
Emily Yang,
Nancy Yang,
Hachia Yang,
Rose Yang,
C Yang,
Teresa Zerbier,
the Law and Social Justice Small Learning Community led by Victoria Stalinsky,
Cristian Acosta Carrillo,
Lizette Bravo,
Carely Carranza,
Loretta Dews,
Kevin Diaz,
Vanessa Esparza,
Pretty Gates,
Jennifer Gutierrez,
Rainisha Harp,
Jerisk Her,
Naya Her,
Giselle Hippolito,
Xavier Hunton,
Eunice Husseini,
Uriah Lene,
Viliami Liu,
Janiel Lodia.
Veronica Lopez Ramirez.
Mariah Mathis.
Stephanie Mosqueda.
Javier Núñez Martínez.
Ariana Perez.
Camilo Pérez.
Randy Fan.
Mariposa Paulín.
Maria Riviera Bautista.
Gabriel Rodríguez.
Jessica Sanchez.
Jacqueline Santillán. Simon Tao.
Vang Tao.
Jada Thomas. Sinai Bailea.
Julian Vallejos.
Jackie Vane.
Tyler Vang.
Kalea Washington.
Devin Yang.
Elaine Yang.
The Media Arts and Technology Small Learning Community, led by Antoine Germany.
Gerardo Acosta Villanueva.
Demetriana Alston.
Kimberly Alvarez.
Terrion Berry.
Ryder Brown.
Samuel Cantrell.
Patrick Chaw.
Kaylin Clark.
Brandon Cooper.
Leon Davis.
Martín Díaz Mesa.
Kyrie Dunn.
Davon Fortenberry.
Carla Fuentes Camacho.
Edwin Germán Burgos.
Darion Galston.
Midley Guzmán Ramírez.
Giovanna Huck.
Yang Her.
Jadai Hernandez Mena.
Peter Heaven Savath.
Mila Howard.
Jocelyn Jimenez.
Leon Joyner.
Kayana Jones Lynch.
Juan Kang.
Gerald Knight.
Becky Lee.
Eddie Liang.
Dwayne Makihele.
Melanie Markson.
Alanisha Massey.
Tamisha McBride.
Zabadiah Mills.
Selena Milton.
Alexa Molina.
Mary Mua.
Yves Mur.
Ismael Navarrete.
Sabian New.
Henry Orellana Barrera.
Karel Osby.
Leslie Perez.
Emily Ramirez.
Vanessa Reyes.
Angelo Rosas.
Joana Rosas Hernández.
Daniela Samate.
Abel Sánchez.
Alexander Sandoval.
Jorge Segundo Arreola,
Jaden Thames,
Ashley Tao,
Chia Tao,
Fidel Trejo López,
Isabel Valdez,
Cheng Veng,
Kevin Vang,
Lisa Veng,
Evamily Vargas,
Christopher Ventura,
Elena Vigil Guido,
Dion Vontress,
Tisa Wiso,
Jimmy Zong,
Kaylee Zong,
Jimeng Yang,
Jimmy Yang,
Maylin Shane,
Ryder Brown, Carmen Walinda,
the World Culture Small Learning Community,
Cassandra Gomez,
Adan Gonzalez,
Jose Guevara Santos,
Josein Mandunajo,
Byron Miranda Lara,
Gulsum Omar,
Merari Reyes Lara,
Bariska Sultani,
Sheha Ahmad Sultani,
Elizabeth Venegas Huerta, the Sacramento Accelerated Academy,
Josiah Bruley,
Melanie Gallardo,
Lisa Lopez,
Aurelio Sanchez Jr. Ladies and gentlemen, the graduates of the class of 2020.
Board Member Vang, I am pleased to present the members of the class of 2020 of Luther Burbank High School who have met all of the requirements for graduation set forth by the State of California and the Sacramento City Unified School District.
On behalf of the Sacramento City Unified School District Board of Education, I congratulate the graduates as having met all of the requirements, and they are now hereby granted the high school diploma.
Graduates, congratulations. Please stand and turn your tassel to the other side of the cap.